Welcome
Hey.
welcome to the Brews and the Boys podcast. We are your neighborhood bar podcast. We drink cold beer. And we talk about America. You're picking that up. We talk about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Every week we will be giving you an in-depth of everything about the Dallas Cowboys. And you know me. My name is Michael Sizemore. I am your host. You have seen me so many times on here, and we are proud to say the Cowboys got a big win today.
Yes, we did.
A big win. A big win against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been, just a pretty tough team over the last couple of years, but the Cowboys went out, they handled business, and anytime you win by a more than a touchdown, I call that a domination, and it was definitely a domination in the fourth quarter, especially for the Cowboys defense today. They started off slow. You got to admit, watching this game, it was kind of like, it was a little hard to do because they started off exactly how they started against the Denver Broncos, and it just, the Cardinals were moving the ball like crazy on them. The Cardinals were moving the ball like crazy on them. They were getting really quick plays done, and it's just, it was kind of making myself and our football literate sidekick here, Timmy Two-Step.
Apparently technologically illiterate sidekick.
Technologically illiterate sidekick as well, because he keeps...
I'm trying to interact with you people.
Yes,
so if you have comments and questions,
absolutely,
ask us
get
stuff.
to them.
That's what I'm working on.
Put that light towards us so we can actually see, so they can see us a little bit better. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys started off slow today, and they just, in the end, they prevailed. The better team prevailed. They were getting their butts whooped. They were getting their butts whooped on time of possession. They lost the time of possession war in this game. 36 minutes for the Cardinals and 23 minutes and 45 seconds for the Cowboys. But for this game, to me, what was better than anything else is John Gruden said it at the end of the game. He said the effort that was being brought in question by Ezekiel Elliott this week. And the sky was falling because everybody was upset about the way the Cowboys played against the Broncos. It just was such a bad game. It was bad tape. They put bad tape on there, and Zeke Elliott said when he stood up and admitted that he felt like he didn't give the best effort on that last play. He said that. He said, I can't put stuff like that on tape. I can't be seen giving effort like that. So today, that effort that they gave, the effort from the defense to keep them in the game, the effort from the offense to get it going when it mattered most. The Cowboys get the win. The Cowboys didn't even play always like the better team in this game. But I'll tell you what, sure, when the pressure was on, and there was a lot of pressure. Ask Carson Palmer about pressure. He knows a lot about that, getting sacked as many times as he did tonight. They just really came. They stood up, Tim. They stood up and they said, "We're going to win this game on the road. We're going to win this game on the road. We're done. We're done with this." Let's just go through a couple of the stat lines real quick. If you look at it, the Cardinals kind of dominated the Cowboys in so many different ways. They had more offensive total yards than the Cowboys. They had 332 yards to Cowboys 273. Now, I will say this, that passing yards, 332 yards. The passing yards was 283 for Carson Palmer, so he had most of those. They didn't get much of a run game going. They only had 49 rushing yards. Cowboys had 99 rushing yards. Could have had 100 if Zeke didn't get hit on that last play and kind of went down, got hit behind the line. But going through this, the Cardinals had 22 first downs. The Cowboys only had 15. The Cardinals had 15 passing first downs. Look, crazy things happen when the Cowboys play the Cardinals. I mean, a couple of years ago, we always tell this story to tell how much of a Cowboys fan I am. A couple of years ago, the Cowboys played, I believe it was like 2011 or so, and they kick it off at the end of the game, and they run it back in overtime to beat the Cowboys. And it was just, I got so angry that I kicked a door down. Just crazy stuff happens when the Cowboys play the Cardinals in Arizona. And the last time the Cowboys played the Cardinals, it was in Dallas. But Tony Romo was hurt, so they kicked our ass then too. So getting this win, this is the first win the Cowboys have had over the Cardinals since Tony Romo got a win in 2006. Over 10 years, over a decade since the Cowboys have been able to beat the Cardinals, and beat the Cardinals especially in Arizona. If you remember, the Arizona Cardinals used to be in the Cowboys division in the NFC Central. No longer are they in there. So again, Cowboys get the win, 28-17. One of the guys that I want to give a special shout out tonight is to Dak Prescott, because that man had, unlike the game last week against the Broncos, where the Broncos, even Chris Harris, the cornerback of the Broncos, said, we were going to force Dak Prescott to throw for 300 yards on us if he was going to beat us, and we knew, hey, Ryan Sibley says go Cowboys. Shout out to Ryan Sibley. How you doing, little bit? Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. So Ryan Sibley's a good friend of the show. But yeah, the Cowboys, they got...
Dak is the Doc Holliday of football, yes.
Dak is the Doc Holliday of football. There you go. He'll be your Huckleberry. But watching the way he played against Denver and seeing how they got behind and how they were going to force Dak to beat him, and Dak couldn't do it because that defense was so strong. The way Dak did it today just really makes you feel good about your quarterback. That touchdown run that he had where he leapt up into the air, flipped over, and got in... That was amazing. Tim said, that's a grown-ass man right there going into the end zone. The Cardinals,
going after what he wants.
He went in to get that touchdown. He's built when he was coming out of college, everyone said, he's kind of built like Ben Roethlisberger. He's a big guy. Yeah. He's the same height as Tony Romo. Tony Romo was 6'2", but y'all know that Tony Romo made a lot of great plays of getting out of sacks and stuff like that, and Tony Romo had some great runs in his career, but at the end of his career, Tony Romo's ass would not be seen trying to jump over a line like that. He would have been hurt forever. D-Real CY says the defense brought through. The three-man pass that they did was awesome. Yeah. How pass rush for the Cowboys tonight with 3 men. You're talking about the Cowboys rushing 3 guys against a 5-man front and a 5-man offensive line. We got you, D-Real CY. We got you. And the way that they were able to get pressure, DeMarcus Lawrence, Tank Lawrence, just getting in there, 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. The way that Rod Marinelli was able to create pressure with just 3 guys against 5 offensive linemen, and a lot of times a running back is chipping or a tight end is chipping, they just absolutely dominated. No, I will agree with you, DeReal CY. We need to do it more. We had 5 sacks off that tonight, but we need to do that 3-man rush more. That's how they beat the Green Bay Packers last year in Green Bay. If you don't remember, they had David Irving out there. David Irving was going in a 3-man rush from the defensive tackle spot, and they were just creating havoc on the Packers last year. When they got into the playoffs, not so much. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about a W, baby. They got the W today. The Cowboys get the win, 28-17. Like I said, an 11-point victory. That's an ass beating. They got their ass beat last week, and they needed to come out and play like the team that they are. Is what they did. And let me tell you, they played angry. They played mad. You see the way that they were behind. Like I'm reading off these stats here for you. First downs. On third down efficiency, the Cowboys only completed 2 of 9, where the Cardinals had 8 of 18. Ethan Taylor says, that went away, but Ethan Taylor, we're so glad that you joined us. Read off what Ethan Taylor said.
Love me some Brews and the boys. Byron Jones showed up tonight, put himself in some good positions against both wide receivers and tight ends.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Byron Jones, a couple of those plays that he made to keep them out of the end zone, that was incredible. Shout out to Ethan Taylor. He's been on the show. You guys have seen him before.
Yeah, episode 5. Great guy. Love you, Ethan.
The Cowboys only ran a total of 45 plays, whereas the Cardinals ran 75. The total yards, the Cowboys got beat there, too. They only had 273 to 332, like we said. They both had the same amount of drives. But this is what is the difference here. When the Cowboys needed it, they got it. When the Cowboys wanted it, they got it. They had more penalties. They had less time of possession. But if we go to the play-by-play, we tell you about the box score. We go here, we tell you Dak Prescott with that run. Later on in the game, Dak Prescott had another just amazing run that he kept the ball, and the cameraman got caught behind. The cameraman got caught behind because he thought he was going to throw it, and then there's Dak Prescott running up the field. So Carson Palmer was 29 of 48. Anytime you can make the opposing passer have to pass the ball like 50 times, you're doing good on defense. You don't want your quarterback. That means that they had literally no semblance of a running game, and you can see that because their leading rusher tonight was Andre Ellington on 5 carries for 22 yards. Chris Johnson looked like he's over the hill, exactly what we were telling you earlier in the week. Carson Palmer was the 3rd leading rusher with 7 yards on 3 rushes. Kerwin Williams only had 3 yards. They really missed David Johnson, and we don't give a shit because we're glad he did not play. We are glad that he did not play. Dak Prescott Dak Prescott only threw 18 passes, but he completed 13 of those for 183 yards. But here's where it gets down to it. His average pass was 10.2 yards per pass. That's amazing because that means when Dak Prescott's throwing the ball, that shit's getting completed, and it's getting completed downfield for a first down for the most part. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he only took 1 sack. His passer rating was 141.7. These are the type of games like Dak Prescott's going to have better games than he had today, for sure. He's going to have better games than he had today. But I will tell you that Dak Prescott, the way he played in this game, the grit, the true grit that he showed in this game, the way Ezekiel Elliott played in this game, this was a team that after last week, after getting their butts whipped, you knew that they couldn't wait to get out on the field and play this game. It sucks that they started off so slowly, but that Arizona Cardinals defense, we told you earlier in the week, they're fast. They are incredibly fast at getting to the ball. Hassan Reddick, their linebacker there. Their defensive line is pretty decent. Their cornerbacks were good. But, I mean, they just had a tough task. Look at what Dez Bryant has had. Dez Bryant took a lot of guff this week. He took a lot of trash talk of people saying that he's not an elite receiver. Go watch that play where Dez Bryant runs through 6 guys for a touchdown tonight, and then tell me if he's not an elite receiver. That's what Dez Bryant does. There's all different kinds of elite receivers. You know, Jerry Rice is considered the greatest of all time. Jerry Rice was a great possession receiver. He could get down the field. He could get behind coverages and make plays. He was a great receiver. You know, Terrell Owens was kind of a deep threat kind of guy, but he could also do the slant routes and get open. Like Michael Irvin was a guy that you could move all around. He was physical. That's what Dez Bryant is. Dez Bryant is that 88. He is representing 88 like Michael Irvin did. The way he got the ball and just was not going to be not denied the end zone. The offensive line comes right behind him, pushes him in for the score. That's what you want from Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, that would make it his 3rd touchdown against the Cardinals in his games against the Cardinals. The last 3 games, he's had a touchdown in each game. Even when they've lost, Dez Bryant has played pretty well. He wasn't exactly the leading receiver or anything tonight, but that's okay. They knew that he was going to be up against Patrick Peterson. Dez Bryant went up against Patrick Peterson tonight, who is an all-pro cornerback, who's one of the best corners in the game, who's better than Richard Sherman in Seattle. Sorry, Sherman, but he is. Then you also, last week he goes up against Aqib Talib, who is one of the best cornerbacks in the game, also an all-pro, also a Pro Bowler cornerback. And then week 1 he had Janoris Jenkins. And Janoris Jenkins, he beat Janoris Jenkins in the Rams game a couple of years ago, beat him badly on a 60-something yard touchdown pass. But at the same time, Janoris Jenkins, kudos to that guy for realizing, hey, Dez has kicked my ass once, I can't let him do that again. He's pretty much held Dez kind of in check, not really, but kind of in check for what you can. This is Dez Bryant. He's a grown-ass man. Welcome to Kevin England. Welcome in. Also, Alexa's not here. She is in DFW. She has moved to Dallas. So.
Ryan civilly asked, did Witten even make a play tonight?
Witten made a few blocks. Witten made a few blocks and stuff, but you know what? This is the thing that's about that, Ryan, that's good. Witten he led all receivers with 17 receptions going into this week. That's not good for the Cowboys because Witten is 34, 35 years old. They need guys like their receivers to make plays. They need Terrence Williams, the young guys, to make plays. Witten had a catch earlier in the game, but you don't want Witten being your leading receiver. You want Witten to do what he's supposed to do, but you don't want him to be your leading receiver. And that's what I thought. That's why I thought that they did a great job by getting other guys open because Jason Witten is the GOAT. He is the gold jacket, Jason Witten, but if he's leading your team in receiving, that's kind of an issue. He had 1 reception for 3 yards.
Sorry to tomorrow's podcast listeners, but Kevin, just call her. Call her and find out why she moved.
Yeah.
Check the comments. Yeah. Interact with us on Facebook and all our social media accounts.
What's with Gruden? I don't know what you mean. I know he was like really, really, really sucking off the Cowboys tonight because he was like loved. No, Kevin, he was right. They should have kicked the field goal right there. The Cardinals, they literally ran almost all the time off the clock and then tried to go for it on 4th down. You need to kick the field goal, give yourself time enough to get the onside kick. They messed up. That's going to be something that they're going to be talking about in Arizona on the radio station right now, probably. You do kick the field goal in that situation. They should have kicked it as soon as they got into field goal range, so then they could try to get the ball back. They went for the score, and that's what killed them. That's what killed him. The Cardinals got
come
beat.
On, yeah, I agree.
No, I don't agree. Kevin, you have to take the points when you got him, because look what happened to him after that. Sacked twice and then throws the ball incomplete. I mean, that ruined the game. That left 33 seconds on the clock. Dak Prescott comes out, kneels it, and it's over. Bryce Butler was your leading receiver. He had 2 receptions for 90 yards, 45 yards per catch. That is, wow. That 53-yarder that he had at the end of the game, when the Cowboys, I said on Twitter, the Cowboys have to come out and they got to do something on this drive. That it was 21 to 17 or something like, yeah. It's like the Cowboys have to do something on this drive or they're going to lose momentum. What happens? First damn play, Bryce Butler, 53 yards in the air, catches it, and he just barely the Honey Badger got his hand on Bryce Butler to keep him down. But Bryce Butler thought he ran a touchdown.
It did not look like they took him down, touched him at all.
You touched him. Yeah, you touched him when he was down. He touched him when he was down.
Just my God, if he had actually.
But that's okay, because just a couple plays later, you had Ezekiel Elliott get his first touchdown of the year. They fed the man. He ate tonight. It's good for Ezekiel Elliott, because with all the stuff that's been going on, with all the things that have been going on with Ezekiel Elliott, it's really nice of him to have a game like this, because. Because, we just don't have great lighting in here, Kevin. I'm sorry. You know what? This is not the fucking Oscars, okay? This is not some big production.
But we're just trying to do. Yet. Disney hasn't called me.
Disney hasn't called, okay? We're just trying to get through, man. All right? But, hey, I love you, by the way.
See you in a
so just getting back to it, Zeke Elliott, what I was going to say is you got to give that man a round of applause for everything that he's dealt with in this offseason. All the
bullshit for
that he's been. Well, it's actually been. He's been dealing with it since last year.
Yeah, a year.
And it's just been something that's been hanging over him for so long, and that he's able to get that taken care of. And he gets his touchdown tonight. Has 90 rushing yards tonight.
Ryan, you're right.
He really needed it, Ryan. You were on point with that. And I just think that for Zeke, I feel like, when people say, "Oh, well, you know that whole situation that he's having, is stuck in his head." Well, wouldn't it be stuck in your head if you were 22 years old and somebody, your employer, the NFL, is calling you a woman beater, and they're not reading all the evidence there. They're not letting you bring forth evidence that can help you exonerate yourself. Wouldn't that be stuck in your head if you were that 22-year-old kid? I know it would hurt me. I would be feeling it. I would be thinking, when's the next shoe going to drop every second of the day? So having Zeke come out and play the game that he played tonight, when, by all means, the Cardinals' defense is good.
Yeah,
they are really good. And they were not going to let a 100-yard they were not going to let a 100-yard rusher. Zeke almost got there, was 10 yards short. But they only allowed 99 yards rushing tonight, and Zeke was 20 yards short, sorry. But those carries that he had at the end of the game, I saw something on Twitter that said Zeke just ran that first down that he had, or no, not the first down, the one where he gets stopped at the line, but he pushes him forward for 7 yards. That's the difference between guys like Ezekiel Elliott and DeMarco Murray and other things like that. No, nothing to say bad about DeMarco Murray. I think DeMarco Murray's a great player. Welcome to Hans Schleimer. Welcome.
Hey, Hans. And Grace Neely, too.
And Grace Neely. We love you, Gracie. The way that he pushed forward for 7 yards, there's not a lot of running backs that do that. I mean, that's dirty running. He got the dirty yards out of the way so they could be able to get a first down after that and keep the drive alive. Dak Prescott scores on that one. But, Dak Prescott, 2 touchdowns tonight. Let's talk about the defense. So let's flip to the defensive side of the ball, because the offense did what they were supposed to do.
It is like being at zero.
Hey, all my friends that are joining us on this show, they know exactly. For people that don't know us, they know that I've been talking Cowboys forever. I mean, they've asked me questions forever. Everybody knew that this is what I should do for a living. So I'm glad this is what I do for a living. It's perfect. We love you, Hans. But so tonight, Sean Lee, I mean, eight tackles. What I think is great is when you see a stat line like this. He had 8 total tackles. All of them were solo tackles. Nobody helped him. He was just like, fuck this. I'm Sean Lee. I'm General Lee. I'm getting this guy down. And he did it. Jalen Smith with 4 solo tackles, 7 tackles total. There was a bunch of tackles for a loss. Malik Collins had 2 sacks tonight. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 sacks tonight. Tyrone Crawford had a sack tonight. Tonight, they got 6 sacks tonight. 6 sacks in this game against the Cardinals, who are beat up. The Cardinals' offensive line is pretty beat up. Dan Wetzel is their starting left tackle. If you don't remember who that is, Dan Wetzel was on our practice squad last year. That's how bad it is for the Arizona Cardinals. He was a practice squad left tackle, and he was abused tonight by the Cowboys defense. DeMarcus Lawrence,
Wetzel, and then
Dan
like a pretzel
Wetzel,
place, Wetzel's Pretzels. I feel like
probably. Who gives a shit about that? But the Cowboys, my gosh, they had.
Yes, Josh Covey, we are live.
Let me see how many hits. This is how many quarterback hits they had. Okay, they had DeMarcus Lawrence has 6 hits. Malik Collins 2, Tyron Crawford 2. That's 10, 11. 11 times they hit Carson Palmer tonight. And 6 of the times were sacks. That means only 5 other times did they not get him down. That's incredible. They had a great game tonight. It wasn't even perfect on both sides of the ball, but you don't turn the ball over. The Cowboys didn't turn the ball over on offense. They got stuffed a few times by a really strong Cardinals defense. The Cardinals are trying to stay pace in the AFC or in the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks are just. The Seattle Seahawks are 1-2 right now. The Cardinals are 1-2, so they should feel a little bit better about that. But the Cowboys, your Cowboys are 2-1. They get the win tonight, 28-17. We want to hear more from you guys. Just bring in some more questions. Anything that you were thinking in that game. DeMarcus Lawrence, that man is playing like he needs to get paid now. Like they should go ahead and just re-sign him now.
Give him my money.
They've been, like Jerry Jones said earlier in the offseason when they went to the draft, we're looking for a war daddy. Well, you got yourself a fucking war daddy because DeMarcus Lawrence, with 3 sacks tonight, he's got to be leading the league right now in sacks because he's had 2 in the other 2 games. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence was just playing like a man possessed. You look at what they were able to do to the Cardinals. The Cardinals had a couple of really good lucky plays, like that play that they had to Larry Fitzgerald where the ball bounces off his arm and he catches it for a first down, and Orlando Scandrick was on the coverage. That was just incredible because you just said I said to Tim, I said, if I'm Orlando Scandrick's coach right now, I'm just going to him and saying, bro, there's nothing you can do about that. That's Larry Fitzgerald. That guy's going to the Hall of Fame. So.
Kevin England says we saw more play action tonight, and I think that is why we won.
Kevin England, ding, ding, ding. You are the winner tonight. You are the MVP of this show tonight.
Hi, Brandon Harvey. Long time no see.
You are the MVP of this show tonight, Kevin, because if you will remember, Pro Football Focus puts out their numbers about passers, and Dak Prescott was better than all passers, including Tom Brady, including Matt Ryan, when it comes to play action. Play action, the rollouts, the bootlegs, the stuff like that, that is what this team does. They run the ball well, and then they set up the play action, and they kill you with the play action. Those plays to Bryce Butler on rollouts, play action, you saw it 53 yards. You saw earlier with Dak Prescott running for the touchdown. He's rolling out on a bootleg. Those bootleg plays, those play action plays, that's what the Cowboys do best. And that's where they needed to get back to. And that's what's good about what they did today, because Scott Linehan has been under fire over the last week because of his play calling. I've had him under fire in this game. You can go back and look at some of my tweets. They're not very nice.
He was yelling a lot at that first half
anybody
of the game.
that knows me knows that I will yell during the game. That's how it's going to be. I coach from the couch. I'm an armchair quarterback.
I'm an
armchair quarterback.
I love that
but
phrase.
I tell you, the game was just so frustrating as it started. But and Ashley, my girlfriend, whom most of you know, said the Cowboys are going to get beat down tonight like they did. And I said, shut up, Packers fan. Get the hell out of here. We don't talk shit about the Cowboys. And that's the Cowboys came away with the win, 28-17. What's Ryan got for us?
Ryan says Dak was more effective on the run than in the pocket.
Yeah, that's true. There were a couple of times, Ryan, though, that if you remember that he ran out of the pocket probably before he needed to. He had some good protection, and he just kind of got out of the pocket a couple of those plays. But that's to be expected for a young quarterback. Guys have to remember that this is not Tony Romo on the team anymore. You know, Tony Romo, as great as Tony Romo was, you know, the best thing about Tony Romo is that time between Wednesday and Saturday is where Romo won games. He was told early in his career by Peyton Manning that Peyton Manning never had the strongest arm. Peyton Manning, you know, he was just precision passing at its best, but he is a Hall of Famer and is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And he told Tony Romo when he was younger, you have to spend more time in the film room. You have to spend more time in the film room because the film room is where you're going to beat these teams. where you're gonna see things. And Dak is not there yet. Dak is still young. He's still just, the playbook is really important to Dak. Whereas with Romo made his own plays and stuff. But that was because Romo was in the league for 14 years, going to Pro Bowls and stuff like that every year. Or 4 times in his career. He was at a point in his, you guys all remember in 2014, I showed Tim this play the other day, that Jedi-like play Romo made where J.J. Watt came around the corner and Romo's not even looking there. Romo's not even looking that way and just somehow senses the pressure, turns around and throws a 40-something yard touchdown to Terrence Williams.
So he felt heat or something.
That was like, I was like, he must be like a cyborg. He just must be feeling the heat like a snake. Like he just felt heat coming. But there was a really funny, after that game when the Cowboys beat the Texans those few years ago, and anyone's watching this, we all hate the Texans. But after they won that game, everyone started calling J.J. Watt J.J. Not because he couldn't get to Tony Romo.
Clever nicknames these people have.
So with Dak Prescott, he's younger. He's learning on the fly here. He was a rookie last year, a 4th-round draft pick. So keep in mind that Dak Prescott, what he did last year as the top rookie quarterback, had the best rookie quarterback performance ever. So he's just getting better. And tonight he showed a lot, to me, I'll go back to that word, he showed a lot of grit. Just a lot of grit to hang there and will his team to victory. Even though he only completed 13 of 18 passes, that was just, he didn't even have to do all that
Watt
much.
Is an American hero, Kevin.
Yeah, he is an American hero. He saved South Texas, so him with the help of other teams like the Cowboys and stuff saved a lot. That 30-something million they were able to put forth. Phenomenal work by J.J. Watt. We will never hate on that man. But
we agreed with you.
13 of 18. Dak just did what he had to do to get the victory. But it was a big one. It was a big one because if you fall to 1-2 in the division, might not be that bad. If you saw the Giants and Eagles play yesterday, the Redskins whipped some ass last night against the Oakland Raiders. But the Oakland Raiders defense is it's got a couple of good pass rushers and stuff, but not really as strong as you would think they should be. And there we go. But I think the Cowboys just did what they did what they were supposed to do. They went on the road. This was the hardest part of their schedule, even though they have to play the Falcons and Packers later in the year. The defenses that they had to play to start the year. First off, they had to start with the Giants, who they didn't beat last year.
No. Or this year.
Well, they beat them this year.
Yes, they did. Never mind. Oh, got it.
Football illiterate sidekick, Timmy Two-Step.
No, I just...
They had to start out with the Giants. Then they had, I call it was a murderer's row is what they had to go through. And they get the Rams next week. And if you've seen the Rams, they're putting up points against teams like the 49ers and stuff. So it's not going to be all that easy. It's just the way that they got this win tonight, it was a good, hard-fought victory.
They'll be tough, Kevin. Rams are going to be tough, is what he said.
Rams are going to be tough. Yeah, they'll be tough. Their offense is playing a lot better than they were last year. The Cowboys' offense is going to have to come to play. But if somebody correct me, I think that game is in Dallas, isn't it? Kevin, look that up for us and let us know. But I believe it's in Dallas.
Oh shit! I looked it up earlier.
Anyway, the Cowboys, they get the victory, 28-17.
Where's the Rams-Cowboys game?
He just Siri's all the way. Go ahead and let Siri say it.
Siri doesn't know.
Siri doesn't know. Siri doesn't
know anything.
But she did know one thing last night. I just for my own personal pleasure.
Shut up, Siri.
She for my own personal pleasure, I said to my Siri, I said, "Who's the greatest wrestler of all time?" And she said, "Ric Flair is widely regarded as the greatest wrestler of all time." Woo! So hey, that's perfect for this game. Let out all your Ric Flair woos, guys. Let them all out because they won.
What do you think of Switzer?
Switzer, yes, Neely? I know Grace Neely probably has a crush on Ryan Switzer because he's a cutie. And he's just like Cole Beasley, your little show pony there. But Ryan Switzer, in the punt return game, he brought you some juice there on that little fake run that they did, the jet sweep. He did a pretty good job there, too. The Cowboys tonight just...
Ethan says they're playing in Dallas.
Yeah, they're playing in Dallas.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan, for that one. I just thought tonight...
Wonders of technology.
Tonight you have to take your hat off to a few guys. You got to take your hat off to Ezekiel Elliott for getting past that crap that he's been going through. You have to take your hat off to Dez Bryant for getting in the end zone and trucking like 5 guys while he did it. Ryan Sibley says, woo, just like the Nature Boy would. You got to give your hats off to Dak Prescott for the game that he was able to pull. But, man, more than anything else, you got to take your hat off to the defense, the Cowboys defense, the way DeMarcus Lawrence, the way they got pressure tonight. Jordan Lewis, rookie cornerback, playing out there. They were down 2 corners. They were down 2 of their. They were down Nolan Carroll, who played like shit last week anyway. They were probably getting an addition by subtraction in that one.
Yeah.
But they were playing without Chidobe Awuzie, their second round pick of this year. So the way that they
like a slaughter last week.
The way that they got battered and bruised last week, but they came back to tonight and they just went out there and did what they were supposed to do, got the victory, got the win, put the Cowboys at 2-1. They are tied. They're technically tied with the Eagles, but the Eagles suck anyway. You saw them. The Giants scored quite a bit on the Eagles yesterday, even though the Giants could only score 3 points against the Cowboys defense. So moving on, next week the Cowboys face the Rams in Dallas. The Cowboys finally get to come home after a murderer's row. This secondary is not as strong as the secondaries they've had to play so far. So you're probably going to finally see Dez Bryant and guys like that be able to make some big plays. Dez Bryant, they still have made big plays. Dez Bryant got a touchdown last week. Here's our little kitty cat.
Bruce and the cat.
Bruce and the cat.
New podcast.
Gunther there making a little appearance there. But definitely, we just want to shout out to everybody that watched the show tonight. We appreciate you guys being with us. This will be out tomorrow for you on podcast form. Cowboys get the win, big win, 28-17, dominate the Cardinals in the second half. Tim's about to make me sneeze because all the cat hair is flying in my face. And the Cowboys, like I said, didn't even play the greatest game, but they did what they were supposed to do. The Cardinals are a worse team than the Cowboys. They're not as good. The Cowboys took care of their job. Josh Covey says Gunther. That's probably his favorite part of the show. But yes, Dallas Cowboys get the victory. Your Dallas Cowboys. We say celebrate tonight, guys. Wear your victory polos, victory jerseys, whatever you got to do. Cuss out a boss tomorrow if you have to. If he was a Cardinals fan,
oh yeah, okay.
Let him know that Carson Palmer's washed up and that the Cowboys got to his ass 6 times tonight. Enjoy your evening. The Cowboys get the victory. I know I'm going to drink a shit ton more beer.
Yes. And for those listening tomorrow on in podcast form, please let everybody know, and please go give us a review on iTunes and Stitcher.
If you don't like Timmy's smug look, go give him a review.
Go give me more hate mail. We got some today, and it was great.
We got a little bit today. But go and follow us. Voice your opinions about the show, whatever we can. We're going to try to be with you every single week following the Cowboys game. Cowboys, again, get the victory over the Cardinals in Arizona tonight on Monday Night Football, 28-17. DeMarcus Lawrence, your star of the game, with 6 sacks. Dak Prescott had 2 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott had 1. Dez Bryant had 1. Your playmakers made plays, and it's on to the Rams next week. Like we always say, all it takes to be an expert on the Dallas Cowboys is a little bit of passion and a whole lot of beer.
Empty beer.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Also, you can watch us on the YouTube. This will be on YouTube and brewsandtheboys.com. Bye.
Brews and the Boys. Find us.